Have you ever wondered why you sometimes wake up with aching legs, swollen joints, or unexplained stiffness despite maintaining a healthy diet? Even when you're staying active, eating protein-rich foods like eggs and drinking plenty of water, the pain persists. Many seniors, this puzzle isn't about what you're eating, it's about how you're combining certain foods. One of the most surprising culprits causing persistent inflammation and leg pain is eating eggs with the wrong foods. Why seniors must be careful with egg pairings. Eggs are often called superfoods, and for good reason. They're packed with protein, essential vitamins like B12, and vital nutrients like choline. They support energy production, muscle repair, and brain health. However, as we age, our bodies become more susceptible to inflammatory triggers. Our immune systems weaken, and digestion slows down. Certain food combinations, especially those involving eggs, can quietly trigger inflammation in adults over 60, leading to joint stiffness, leg pain, and swelling in the ankles, knees, or feet. No senior wants to risk reduced mobility, worsened arthritis symptoms, or nerve damage from this kind of inflammation. Let's examine the 6 foods you should never eat with eggs, and why the consequences might be more serious than you realize. Before we begin, I encourage you to subscribe and ring the bell if you haven't already, so you never miss another personalized health tip. Type 1 in the comments if you find this video helpful, or 0 if not. Let me know how I can improve your content. 1. Processed meats, ham, sausage, and bacon for many American seniors. Sizzling bacon in the morning is more than just breakfast, it's comfort, ritual, and memory. Eggs with a side of ham or sausage may have been the standard breakfast for decades. But what if this exact combination, so familiar and beloved, is quietly causing your knees to swell, your joints to tighten, and your legs to ache? Processed meats like bacon, sausage, and ham are loaded with saturated fats, artificial preservatives, and sodium nitrates. These compounds aren't just hard on the heart, they're powerful triggers of systemic inflammation, especially in people over 60. As we age, our body's ability to process and eliminate these substances decreases. The result? Inflammation accumulates, particularly in the joints and muscles of the lower body, where circulation is already compromised by aging. Now add eggs to the mix. While eggs are nutritious on their own, they contain sulfur compounds. When combined with nitrates from processed meat, this can elevate blood uric acid levels. High uric acid is a known trigger of gout-like symptoms: pain, redness, and swelling, especially in the knees and feet. You might not realize these symptoms, which could appear later in the day or after breakfast, are connected to what you ate that morning. Beyond physical discomfort, this silent inflammation can lead to reduced mobility, increased fall risk, and emotional exhaustion from dealing with daily pain. This type of diet gradually erodes your independence, stealing your strength along with your comfort. So the next time you're tempted to grab that slice of bacon, consider whether 5 minutes of flavor is worth the potential flare-up. What about that innocent bagel or piece of toast you've been eating with your eggs for years? That could also be fueling the flames. If you're still watching and finding these insights helpful, let me know in the comments below. Now let's discuss point number 2. 2. White bread, bagels, muffins, and refined carbs. There's something truly comforting about a warm slice of toast, a buttered bagel, or a soft muffin alongside your morning eggs. For many of us, these aren't just breakfast items, they represent familiarity, simplicity, and home. But as we age, it's crucial to look beyond comfort and start considering how our diet affects our bodies, particularly our joints, legs, and overall vitality. Refined carbohydrates like white bread, bagels, and muffins have been stripped of their natural fiber and nutrients. When consumed, they rapidly convert to sugar, causing sudden spikes in blood glucose levels. Your body responds to these unexpected spikes defensively. Your immune system perceives this blood sugar surge as a threat and releases inflammatory signals. These signals gradually damage the soft tissue in your joints, especially in weight-bearing areas like the knees, ankles, and feet. For elderly people whose metabolic and circulatory systems have naturally slowed, these blood sugar fluctuations are particularly dangerous. These processed carbohydrates promote persistent inflammation that settles in your legs, making every step feel more difficult, uncomfortable, or simply draining. When you combine refined carbohydrates with eggs, a high protein, high-fat food, your digestion slows even further. This creates a buildup of inflammation in the intestines, which travels through the bloodstream and often reaches the joints, particularly those already weakened by arthritis or aging. So while enjoying a fluffy piece of white bread with scrambled eggs might seem innocent, it could be the hidden cause of your morning stiffness or evening foot swelling. Your plate might be the source of that sudden pain. But if refined carbohydrates are harmful, what about that flavorful, creamy topping of melted cheese that many people add to their eggs? You might want to reconsider before that next sprinkle.
3. Cheese, particularly melted or processed cheese. A warm, cheesy omelette or scrambled eggs topped with melted cheese is undeniably satisfying. Cheese has long been a comfort food for many elderly individuals. It's rich, creamy, and familiar. However, most people don't realize that this seemingly harmless addition might be quietly causing the very stiffness and pain they deal with regularly. As we age, our bodies become more sensitive to inflammation. Processed cheeses, like those commonly used at breakfast, contain several compounds that irritate joints and muscles, particularly in the lower body. People over 60, who may already have compromised gut health, can experience inflammation from the high levels of saturated fats, chemical additives, and milk protein casein found in cheese, especially processed or melted varieties. Over time, our digestive system becomes less efficient, making it harder to digest heavier foods. When rich, dense eggs and cheese are combined, the result is a difficult-to-digest meal that sits heavy in the stomach and causes the body to send distress signals. The outcome: a cascade of inflammatory reactions that often manifest as ankle stiffness, calf soreness, or knee swelling, particularly after meals or when you stand up. This discomfort doesn't just make it difficult to stand or walk, it gradually erodes your confidence and independence. Even small joys like gardening or walking to the mailbox can seem overwhelming when every movement becomes a strain. Even more tragic is that the cause may be quietly present on your breakfast plate, disguised as comfort. But cheese isn't the only hidden culprit. Certain vegetables we've long considered healthy might also be contributing to joint pain. Wondering which ones might be worsening your symptoms? Let's examine this more closely. If you're still watching and finding these insights useful, let me know in the comments below. Let's move on to point number 4. 4. Nightshade vegetables, peppers, potatoes, and tomatoes. For most of our lives, we've been told that vegetables are always healthy, and in many ways, they are. However, not all vegetables are created equal for aging bodies, especially those prone to arthritis or stiff joints. Take nightshades, for example. Potatoes, eggplants, bell peppers, and tomatoes. These bright, colorful foods are often served on the side or mixed into omelettes as part of a healthy breakfast. But these seemingly innocent vegetables might be quietly causing joint discomfort, especially in the legs, knees, and feet. For many older people, nightshades contain solanine, a naturally occurring compound that can worsen inflammation and interfere with nerve function in some individuals. As we age, our body's ability to filter and eliminate these substances decreases, particularly if liver or kidney function is impaired. The result: solanine accumulation irritates soft tissues, causing stiffness, swelling, and even burning sensations, symptoms that often resemble nerve damage or arthritis. You might experience this discomfort particularly in the mornings or after meals, wondering why your knees get stiffer, your legs feel heavier, or your feet become more tender each day. Even more concerning is that many elderly people eat nightshades with eggs, thinking it's a healthy, high-protein meal. However, for sensitive individuals, this combination creates the perfect storm. The body, already fighting age-related inflammation, becomes overwhelmed, resulting in chronic pain that seems sudden, but has actually been building gradually over years. While you might not connect the leg pain later that evening to those diced tomatoes in your omelette, your body remembers. If you've been dealing with unexplained joint discomfort despite eating a healthy diet, it might be time to examine your vegetables more closely. But nightshades aren't the only hidden dangers. Sometimes the pleasant additions we put on our plates can cause even more sudden damage. What about your favorite fruit juice or a little jam for breakfast? The truth might surprise you. 5. Sugar, jam, jelly, ketchup, or sweetened drinks. A small glass of orange juice at the breakfast table, a tablespoon of jam on toast, a splash of ketchup on eggs. or a touch of sweetness in the morning all evoke fond memories. After working hard for a lifetime, these small indulgences seem harmless, even deserved. However, for aging bodies, even a small amount of added sugar can trigger a cascade of hidden damage that shows up not just in blood sugar levels, but in real physical discomfort, particularly in joints and legs. As we age, our ability to handle sugar dramatically decreases, our pancreas becomes less effective, insulin resistance increases, and what used to be a harmless treat becomes a potent irritant that can cause inflammation and nerve discomfort. When sugar enters the bloodstream, it causes glucose and insulin surges that irritate the sensitive tissues around blood vessels and joints. Over time, this leads to glycosoma process where sugar molecules bind to body proteins, hardening tissues, damaging cartilage, and reducing blood flow, particularly to the lower extremities. Even if you don't immediately connect the burning in your calves, tingling in your feet, or stiffness in your knees to that spoonful of jelly you had earlier, your body keeps score. For elderly people, particularly those with diabetes, pre-diabetes, or compromised circulation, sugar is more than just sweet, silently hostile. It impairs healing, weakens the immune system, and slows recovery from even minor aches and strains in ways few would expect from something as innocent as a flavored drink. What begins as mild discomfort can evolve into chronic pain and mobility loss, threatening independence. But sugar isn't the only subtle danger lurking in your breakfast. Some of the most harmful effects might come from what you cook with, rather than what you add. That healthier alternative to butter you've been using. It might be doing far more harm than good. 6. Artificial butter substitutes, or margarine. For many years, we were convinced that margarine was the heart-healthy alternative to butter, modern solution to an age-old problem. Many well-meaning seniors made the switch, thinking it was a wise and safe choice. Today, however, science tells a very different story. Artificial butter substitutes and margarine, particularly those containing trans fats and hydrogenated oils, aren't harmless. They might actually be among the most dangerous items on your breakfast plate, especially when combined with eggs. As we age, our bodies become more sensitive to the types of fats we consume. Our joints become more vulnerable, and our cells more fragile. The process used to create margarine alters the structure of fat, producing trans fats compounds so harmful they're banned in many countries. These fats cause arterial stiffness, impair nutrient absorption, and interfere with the body's ability to manage inflammation. Regular consumption of these fats, particularly when heated, causes oxidative stress that breaks down collagen in joints and restricts blood flow to the legs. For seniors, the consequences can be devastating. Calf pain, foot numbness, throbbing knees, or sudden, unexpected cramping. These symptoms are often blamed on aging or poor circulation, but the real culprit is frequently found in the oils used to prepare breakfast. Even worse, the damage accumulates quietly over time, making it difficult to identify the source of the pain. Rather than cholesterol, the key concerns are now inflammation, mobility, and maintaining the ability to walk freely without fatigue or fear of falling. Now that you're beginning to understand how some foods quietly harm you, let's return to the bigger picture. What can you do? How can you continue enjoying eggs comforting, familiar, and satisfying without inviting inflammation to the table? Let's discuss safer, smarter ways to eat for comfort, strength, and long-term independence. 7. Why seniors are vulnerable to these combinations. Growing older teaches us that not all dangers come with warning signs. Some of life's most harmful elements, particularly to our health, occur subtly, gradually, and often out of habit. Food pairings we've relied on for years: eggs with toast, bacon, cheese, or even a little jam may seem harmless, even comforting. But for elderly people, these combinations can quietly lead to chronic inflammation, a serious and lasting form of damage. Once it begins, inflammation is the root cause of many problems older adults face: painful stiffness, swollen joints, aching legs, and ultimately, loss of independence and mobility. What makes these pairings risky isn't just the individual components, it's how they interact within an aging body. Our metabolism slows, our digestive system becomes more sensitive, and we become less able to process chemicals, fats, and sugars. In our 70s, something that might have been just a large meal in our 40s can now trigger days of discomfort. When consumed together, these foods set off a cascade of chemical reactions that increase blood sugar, uric acid, and inflammatory agents, attacking joints and soft tissue. The most troubling aspect: Many elderly people don't realize what's happening. They don't know that every meal shapes how their body feels tomorrow. They attribute their pain to aging, that painful tingling in feet, throbbing in knees, and stiffness when getting out of bed. Without question, it could all be connected to combinations they've been eating for years. The source isn't mysterious, yet the suffering feels that way. Here's the good news. You have more control than you realize. With a few simple changes, the same foods that once caused pain can now be used as healing tools. You don't have to give up eggs or the comfort of a warm breakfast. You just need to know what not to pair them with, and the power begins to return. One bite at a time. One choice at a time. 8. What seniors can eat with eggs. Instead, eggs have a timeless quality. They're familiar, nourishing, and simple. An anchor in an ever-changing world. Eggs can still be among the most valuable items on a senior's menu. High in protein, easy to digest, and packed with essential nutrients that support energy, muscle, strength, and brain function. But the key to making eggs work for you in your later years isn't just how you cook them, it's what you choose to eat with them. The right combinations can reduce inflammation and joint pain, while supporting the kind of mobility and comfort that lets you continue doing the things you love. Instead of processed meats or refined breads, try surrounding eggs with foods that promote healing rather than harm. Leafy greens like spinach, kale, or arugula, when gently in olive oil, have anti-inflammatory properties and are gentle on aging digestive systems. Avocado provides heart-healthy fats that actually support joint health, while adding creamy texture without the risks of processed cheese. For those who prefer carbohydrates, sweet potatoes or quinoa offer sturdy, fiber-rich energy without spiking blood sugar levels or causing inflammation. Even how you cook your eggs matters. Choose poached, steamed, or lightly pan-fried in healthy fat like olive or coconut oil. Avoid cooking them in butter substitutes or adding salty toppings. Keep your meals as natural, complete, and balanced as possible. These are gentle improvements, not sacrifices. Changing what's on your plate is about protecting the life you worked so hard to build. Your freedom, your joints, your legs. Not about giving up flavors you love. They're worth more than a sweet spread or a side of bacon. Yes, food can harm, but it can also heal. When you make the right choices at the start of your day, you're not just eating, you're investing in a more peaceful, pain-free future. You might be amazed at how powerful your plate can be. Final thoughts. The power of choice. Every choice we make at this stage of life, for every breath we take, every bite we consume matters more than ever. Yet often, the small things, like what we put on our morning plate, have the greatest impact. Food is more than fuel, it's a messenger. It communicates with your body in ways words cannot. It can shout inflammation or whisper healing. For many of us, the meals we've grown to love, eggs with bacon, bread, cheese, or sweet condiments, may be quietly sending messages of discomfort and stiffness to our legs, joints, and the parts of our bodies that have carried us through life. I've lived long enough to know that comfort can be deceptive. I used to believe that if something tasted familiar, it had to be safe. Experience has taught me otherwise. Sometimes what soothes the tongue can deceive the body. Having traveled the long road of age, I now see food as a conversation between past and future. Every meal affects not just where I've been, but where I'm going. Making better choices at the table can mean fewer medications on the nightstand and fewer mornings wondering why everything hurts. I encourage you to see breakfast as more than routine. It's a key. If you've been dealing with unexplained leg pain, joint swelling, or simply feeling like your body is moving slower than it should, you can still be friends with eggs. You just need to choose their companions carefully. You can change the story at any moment, because your body is always listening and responding. Let your food work for you instead of against you. Make breakfast a quiet act of self-care, a declaration to your feet, hips, and knees that you still value freedom, movement, and life. Because whether you're 60, 70, 80, or beyond, you and your plate still have power. The purpose of these discussions is to encourage you to live life to its fullest and most authentic. I'd love to hear from you now. Think about it. Then share one thing you've learned that you plan to apply in your own life. On this journey of embracing these truths, let's support each other. Please comment with your senior health tips if you enjoyed this video. Feel free to comment with 0 if not. Your feedback is very important to us. For more videos like these, remember to subscribe to our channel, like, and share our content. Thank you for watching, and I hope you enjoy living your life on your own terms.